and thank you all for joining us today. As you're aware, April 1st kicked off National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and we're doing that in partnership with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. During the month of April, law enforcement across the state of Connecticut will be actively seeking out drivers who choose to violate our state's handheld mobile electronic laws. Put the Phone Away and Pay is a national, highly visible enforcement campaign focused on combating distracted driving. The statistics alone speak volumes. Nationally in 2021, there were over 3,500 people killed, as well as 362,000 people injured in traffic crashes that involved distracted driving. In Connecticut alone, over 5,600 crashes were attributed to distracted driving, resulting in 9 fatalities and more than 850 injuries. Provided to you today on those handouts are an analysis of various motor vehicle enforcement activities undertaken by our department, including cell phone violations, traffic stops, and citations issued. These statistics underscore the importance of our efforts and highlight the urgency of our shared commitment in traffic safety. The dangers of texting and driving cannot be overstated. Connecticut law prohibits the use of any handheld mobile electronic device while operating a motor vehicle, plain and simple. Violating these laws can be costly. A first offense ranges from $200 to subsequent offenses over $600. While April itself serves as National Distracted Driving Awareness Month, our commitment to promoting safe driving practices extends well beyond April throughout the year. We remain dedicated to keeping our roads safe and urge all drivers to make responsible choices behind the wheel. As a part of these efforts, our partnership with the State of Connecticut during this campaign provides us the necessary funding that allows us to keep extra officers on the road focused on enforcing distracted driving outside of their normal daily activities.
Fairfield Police Department is proud to stand before you and share our progress in combating this behavior that is plaguing our roads. Distracted driving is not merely a traffic violation, it is a preventable danger that puts lives at risk every day. Each text glanced at, each call answered, and each moment of diverted attention has the potential to result in devastating consequences. It is critical that all of us recognize the gravity of this threat and take action to combat it. Through the dedicated efforts of our officers and with the invaluable support of grant funding from the State of Connecticut, we have made significant strides in enforcing distracted driving laws. In March 2024 alone, we have witnessed staggering increases in enforcement actions compared to the same period last year. This surge underscores our unwavering commitment to ensuring the safety of our community and our roadways. As we enter April, we're filled with optimism that our momentum will only continue to escalate. These initiatives represent a collective effort to address this pressing issue from all angles, incorporating education, enforcement, and community engagement. The Fairfield Police Department is resolute in our mission to make our roads safer for all. We urge members of our community to join us in this vital endeavor by committing to distracted-free driving and advocating for responsible behavior behind the wheel. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to First Selectman Bill Gerber, State Senator Tony Wong, our state delegation, and our state and local partners for their unwavering support and dedication in improving traffic safety in our town. Their advocacy and collaboration have been instrumental in our efforts to combat distracted driving and enhance public safety on our roads. Together, we can create a culture of safety on our roads, where every journey is undertaken with mindfulness and care. Let us work together to ensure that every trip ends safely.
Another important aspect is the incidences of distracted driving by age. Between the ages of 25 to 34 are the most incidences of distracted driving fatalities. But here is something that's really startling upon my research. 44% of those involving teenagers resulted in a teenage fatality when distracted driving occurs. What it simply means, these data are compelling. They're compelling because they're preventable tragedies. And for us in the state delegation, we've worked really hard in a bipartisan basis in drafting legislation related to Vision Zero, which is a comprehensive initiative that looks at traffic safety in the areas of impairment, as well as distracted driving and enforcement, as well as our legislation related to it. So I think it's important to note that we can't solve this problem overnight, and it is an issue in which many of us are guilty at some time. I think that's important to note. As we make our drives up to Hartford every day, almost it seems practically, we have seen the challenges and the dangers of the road. And for all of us that are trying to do 3 different things at once in the hectic life that we live in, many of us are guilty of it at one time or another. And I think what this press conference and what this awareness program is looking to raise is that don't do it. Don't do it. Because it'll take just simply 2 to 3 seconds for tragedy to occur, for an irrevocable change to people's lives that they will regret, not only the victims, but also their families. So again, for all of us, and maybe a reminder to many of us that's sitting up here at the stage here, that we should remove ourselves and not be distracted when we're driving.
We're talking about enforcement and safety on the roadways. So enforcement and safety on the roadways it's a critical piece of the engineering, education, and enforcement trio that's really what helps keep people safe on the roads. I'd like to thank especially Commissioner Garrett Euclid from the CT Department of Transportation, and as was mentioned by both the Chief and Senator Wong, the grant funding that will help us, help you, our officers, deliver safety to our residents. And the reminders that the Senator shared are really so critical. Distracted driving, it really is up to all of us. And it's also an important opportunity to remember that these initiatives alone will not be enough. We also have to consider our complete streets engineering and how we design our roadways so that there's prevention in that regard as well. The roadway design in terms of complete streets is something that our first selectman, Bill Gerber, has championed. As a 5-term member of the Transportation Committee, this is something that I know is so important and now is much more important to our State Department of Transportation. And we're seeing some of the results of that as well. We've even gotten support from Congressman Himes on some funding to help make improvements to the Post Road Circle. So all of these things are geared towards public health. And as the public health co-chair, I think about the impact of distracted driving from a public health standpoint. As was mentioned, the impact on people's lives, their day-to-day lives, the cost to our healthcare system, and what that means for us as a state and as a town. So put the phone away is the right message for all of us, and I want to again thank all of you, especially our people in uniform who are here today to help keep us safe on the roadway, and to thank you, Chief and Senator Wong, for raising awareness on this very important issue.
However, laws and enforcement can only go so far. It's our behaviors day to day that need to change. A focus on the road, demanding your full attention at all times, not your devices, not your radio, and not your kids and other things that go on in the vehicles. Multitasking is absolutely a threat to public safety. We have a shared responsibility. This is going to be a collective effort, and while this month is a reminder, particularly as more people in the Northeast end up out on the roads, walking and biking and running, every single day we need to be paying attention to this. Disaster can strike at any time.
AAA echoes the sentiments of all of our wonderful partners in traffic safety. As always, we remain committed to the prevention and awareness, to prevention and providing awareness to drivers of distracted driving behaviors. We also encourage drivers to remember to slow down and move over for service vehicles, law enforcement, and stranded motorists. An incredibly important issue, near and dear to AAA's heart, as our roadside techs are outside every day risking their lives to keep people safe, as well as our partners in law enforcement. Again, we echo the sentiments of all of these wonderful partners and remain committed to supporting this crucial initiative in keeping passengers safe on the road, off of the road. And of course today, with the eclipse upon us, we remind folks, if you're going to stop and look at the eclipse, of course, to pull over someplace safe to enjoy it. Keep our eyes on the road, hands on the wheel, and stay safe out there, not just during Distracted Driver Awareness Month, but every single month of the year.
Distracted driving is more than being on our phones. It's taking your mind off of the task of driving. So being mindful, staying alert, paying attention, especially to signs in construction areas. That will help everyone get home safely. For the month of April, our traffic services unit alone has issued nearly 100 citations for distracted driving. That doesn't include our troopers doing enforcement at our 11 troops throughout the state. So education is a key factor in ensuring that we can continue to stay safe on our roadways. Knowing the consequences of distracted driving, from a warning to something more serious like a fatality. We know distracted driving is a contributing factor to fatalities out on our roadways. As a parent of young children and teenagers, be the example. A parent for teenagers and kids who are learning how to drive, having those tough conversations with them is key to ensure that they will be safe out on the roadways. We need to show our future motorists what right looks like, and that is doing what we ask of them every single day and being that model of what safe driving looks like. We want to continue to keep our roadways safe. We are grateful for our partnerships with the Department of Transportation and with our local agencies throughout the state. We again want to continue that education is important in what right looks like on our highways. Thank you.
I wouldn't be able to conclude today without thanking the officers that are out there, whether it be the Connecticut State Police, especially our officers, and all of those throughout the state and the country for doing their part in their enforcement efforts. They are taking their job seriously. They are making, at least in Fairfield, and from what sounds like the state police as well, sizable enforcement efforts aimed at changing behavior of our motorists. So the commitment to ensuring that safety on the road and their diligent efforts does not go unnoticed and should be commended.